look at that. It's spring, Smite Pro League 2015. It's game number 2 out of set number 1, out of week number 4, out of split number 1. I'm Bart, that's Brandon.
I'm really impressed you got through all that.
You know.
I don't.
I talk.
That's why.
I do talkie. I move the mouth and the words.
I know it's spring, and I know there's some kind of split, and this is Europe.
This is Europe.
In fact, let's look at European Guardian players.
Yes, let's. Couple of well-known names here from the Guardian role. It's Kanye Life, formerly known as Murder, and Trix Tank, who, well, formerly known as Trix Tank.
Trix is kind of in a different, I think, spectrum right now than Kanye. Not saying he's better, not saying he's worse.
Okay.
They just do so different things. They're completely different players by anyone's margin. They don't defend the same. They don't aggress the same. They don't blink in the same if they have blink. They're just completely separate. But it seems like it's working out a little bit better for Trix Tank as his goal permitted and KDA really show.
About 10% more on the GPM there.
Yeah,
so.
Which is a big deal at this stage of the game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially when you consider what 30 gold a minute is basically an extra, essentially an extra ward every minute and a half.
Yeah, that's
right? If you put it in those terms. So.
I mean, that or it can be an item every 10, right?
Sure, yeah. It could be. I mean, it could be a lot of things. Math is expandable.
Shout outs to Pi.
Shout outs to Pi.
Let's do picks and bans.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's just go and
let's do the P's and B's as we call them here.
Don't say that.
We don't call them the P's and B's?
No. This is going to be picks and bans powered by Curse Voice again. Trig and Titan. This is going to be game 2 with Trig up 1-0.
Well, with the first pick and ban here, it's going to be Titan. It's going to be Trig on the top side, wearing the red trunks for this one again, and well, no big surprise there. Well, maybe a little bit of surprise, but it's Boxar banned out again in the first ban position.
It's strange to me to see this. I can't get behind trying to ban out Xalia. His god pool is literally the entire game. He has some of the most amount of games played worldwide, one of the highest win rates worldwide, and has been extremely successful with gods that make no sense in roles that they don't belong in. I mean, trying to take characters away from him, I mean, how much benefit can you really have?
I mean, no one would ever say that Nemesis should go to the soul lane for any reason.
He has explained it to me in excruciating detail, and he made it sound awesome, and I have since forgotten why, and I don't get it again. I've just erased it.
It makes no damn sense.
It just doesn't make sense. As soon as he stopped talking, I'm like, wow, that was really smart. What did he say? It just...
Yeah.
It didn't stick. So it's almost the same ban phase, with the small exception of Hercules getting transferred out there for Ra. Lobster a little bit too much to deal with in game 1. Thor gets locked in once again. This has got to be hurt.
Hercules on her. Do it.
Oh, jeez.
Do it. Maybe Xbalanque.
I'm actually pretty surprised that we didn't see Titan grab Hercules. Comfrey's Hercules is very good.
Ooh, they're going to take a look at old Agni for Lobster. Oh. So you can see how much they prioritize putting Lobster on something that he is comfortable with. Ra was the first pick in the last game. Now it's going to be Agni, so they definitely want him to be a high-impact player in this game.
Agni was the character that really put Lob on the map. Sure. I mean, this character...
Dual lane Agni, nonetheless.
I mean, yeah, just Agni. I mean, this guy was untouchable and pretty much maintains that. I mean, what he did at the launch tournament, etc. Hercules going to be locked in, most likely for Trix Tank, although there is some ambiguity there. It could go to Xalia.
There he is.
Xbalanque going to get locked in here, and one more pick for Titan. I would expect they're going to go with their mid laner here.
Yeah, Pretty Prime's best god against Agni has got to be the choice, and well, as you can see, his top god is Agni, so maybe going to be a little bit of a difficult proposition for the draft here for Titan.
Run it back. He hit the Earthshakers like every time.
True, and they
Just
will.
Run it back.
They will run it back, Brandon. Back they run.
All right, so with that, we're going to go right back into the picks here for Trig. They have one more before the ban phase. Hard to say what they're going to go for here. There's still a lot of options open. If they want, they could go Hunter, and that could be it, although we have seen Cubo really have an affinity.
Yeah.
You think so?
I just think that Cubo really likes Freya.
Then
again, it's also Funballer.
I think Funball wants to play this against Xbalanque.
I think that Freya Hercules is a damn fine dual lane.
If you get caught, man.
Yeah, if you get caught, you're caught. It reminds me of Sobek Cupid in a lot of ways.
Except not instantaneous death.
Right. It takes a little bit longer. There's not quite as much CC maybe, but same kind of idea of out of position, stun into chain slow.
So Aphrodite once again getting banned here. Trig taking a shot at Comfrey. Hunbot's going to be taken away there from Cubo. Fred, wow. Big.
Hunbots. Hey, statistically, this god is the god to have.
Yeah, he is, I think, the most winningest for the percentage, like the highest win percentage.
Highest win percentage, most wins for any assassin, highest net worth, highest GPM.
Oh, wow. Vamana going to be locked in here. Now, this is the character that kind of put Xalia on the map as a result. So we have two gods that are going to go to players who are just absolute monsters. I mean, these are like household names, whereas Odin, not as much of a household name. At least not these days. Now, that could be solo, that could be support. Still one pick remains, so there is some ambiguity, but really the only people affected by this are me and Bart.
Well, we know it's not a jungle, right?
Right.
Thor has to go there. So it is going to be support Odin, it looks like, with the Chaac drafted. Although, hey, there's one school of thought that says, you can just put the Chaac against the Hercules, put a warrior against the warrior, but Chaac doesn't really bring the same things to the table that Hercules does in terms of, especially peel.
I mean, if you're going like warrior meta, Herc Vamana drafted over Odin Chaac, I'd be pretty excited to have Herc Vamana.
Hey, it's Awilix is the final draft.
Wow, we haven't seen that a lot of her.
We haven't.
So we got knockups from Vamana.
Okay, so this is what I'm looking at.
You got knockup from her.
Yeah, Hercules from Vamana, obviously. If they're falling out of Whoop.
No. Well, actually, I don't know 100%. I know that it doesn't work with Janus Portal.
Okay.
Banish is no longer treated as a knockup, so I'm going to assume Freya's Banish
also,
is the same. Can't be 100%, as I have not tested that specifically, but I would assume not because it doesn't work with Janus.
Either way, Vamana is a really reliable knockup.
Yeah, it's really not a very difficult move to hit.
Yeah, well, you see after that last game, 67% win right now to the favor of TRIG. 57 is what the boys of Titan fall to. But we're underway, guys. Let's introduce your squads. We're riding along with the red team, so we'll introduce them first. It's TRIG. It's Cubo, Fred. They're wearing the red trunks. They're the right side of your mini-map. Top side of your mini-map, right side of your spectator UI. One of those was wrong. It's Xalia in the solo lane as the Babby. Cubo, Fred will be Awilix in the jungle. It's Lobster in the mid lane as Agni. And that leaves Trix and Funball to duo up as Hercules and Freya. Their opponents today are Titan for the second time, down 1-0. The boys in blue are going to try to battle this one back and turn it into a 3-game set. Confrey's going to be your solo lane Chaac. It's going to be Replicas in the jungle as Thor. Pretty Prime in the mid lane as his signature Vulcan. And Kanye Life with Ataraxia in the dual lane as Odin, of all gods, and Xbalanque.
I can kind of feel the animosity that TRIG has here. Titan made it to Worlds without having to ever fight their way through the old TSM roster. Of course, now TRIG, they fought in the Challenge Cup, right? Never had to fight them. Fought on the other side of the bracket where TRIG didn't make it to finals because of their loss. Okay. Right, to what was SK, now is Fnatic. This is the first time that we've seen TRIG and Titan face off since the weeklies, which was years ago.
Yeah, what was this Titan team even called then?
They were, before Aquila.
Yeah.
The A word.
Well, yeah, they were, what the hell were they?
There was another A word that sounded cool when you said it.
Yeah.
Agilitas. Thank you,
right,
Brad.
they were Agilitas. And before that, they were like, was this XSec?
Oh, I don't even,
like back when Kanye Life was murder and life was simpler.
Rip murder.
We only had 45 gods. Had to walk uphill both ways in the snow to cast.
It was pretty close. I had to set up a green screen. It was the worst.
Yeah.
But of course, starting off the game here, no big surprise as we see Reppy and Confrey make it to lane first. They did draft into the double Hand of the God start as opposed to the single hand coming out from TRIG. You should note there is a heavy hammer attached, of course, to that little baby. The issue is that he'll be able to slow Confrey down, but do you really want to be boxing Chaac?
I'm gonna throw a little analysis your way, Brandon. Let me know what you think of it here. This game is live or die by the Odin. Kanye Life's entire job in this entire game is to prevent Vamana and Hercules from ruining the team fights.
Right.
If Kanye Life dies at the beginning of a team fight, or the ultimate is not good, or he's forced you defensively to save someone and not peel those two frontliners away, I don't see Titan doing very well in this game.
But there's the, old adage of, I'm not locked in here with you, you're locked in here with me. Right? There's still going to be the Vamana swinging on the Odin going, yeah, man, you have a sovereignty. Grats.
That's right. I mean, but like, hey, if he can keep those two out of the fight, especially for a few seconds, maybe it's enough, maybe not. We'll see how this one plays out.
Maybe we'll see Combat Blank Baby.
But to me, it's team composition goes in favor of TRIG Esports again in this draft.
How did he manage to take that again? He takes it every single time. He takes the same back camp in the same way every time. No one seems to ever ward against it. They rotate. He still gets away. Great use of Summon Suku right there. He's able to get out of there quickly. Cubo Fred with a strong start, but remember, Awilix is a very strong early game god. That's what she excels in. Then again, Thor kind of aiming for the mid game as well. Neither jungler going to have a major premise in the late game.
Oh, Did he take? Oh, he did. Did you see that? He banished out the Rising Jaguar before the flips came out, but after the dash came out, taking away the cooldown.
Oh, that's the kind of speed you can't buy.
So much cheeks, dude.
That's really, really fast reaction time. Lobster going to find first blood in the mid lane there against Reppy, thanks to Cubo Fred. Feather Step does a lot of damage at this stage of the game.
Very low. In the dual lane is Tricks as well, but the Banish comes out to stop Kanye Life from getting any more of the spot shots. And Titan started to take over this lane a bit, but it's one thing Hercules is good at. It's recovering HP.
This, in my opinion, is where Xbalanque and Odin should be winning. Bird Bomb at this stage is basically clearing the wave, but with that early first blood and a beautiful rotation coming out from Xalia, it looks like that we're going to see mid-camps, both of them going to Trig.
Both mid-camps to Trig, plus a first blood under their belt in the mid lane on a god that I would say has a 6-4 versus Vulcan. Agni, just really easy for him to stop the turret, and also has excellent wave clear.
I think it goes back and forth, right? I mean, at least in
5-5?
lane. But when you get down to mid-camp fights, it's Agni Bombs versus Meatballs.
Oh,
you,
sure.
You can't put a price on that.
No, you can't. You can't. Yeah, purely in the lane matchup, advantage Agni for me.
Yeah, I would definitely give it to Agni, just because every 20 seconds he can go, here's part of my ultimate for 1,000,000% of your health and, you know, the entire creep wave and your turret.
I'm just looking at
love.
Bomb turret. There goes the turret, and then I flame path away. And now what are you going to do to punish me? Because I've just cleared your wave, and you don't want to trade the Agni. So. And it's Lobster, who is synonymous with Agni in many ways.
He is the best Agni. I have no doubt, no lack of confidence in saying that whatsoever. He is the strongest Agni player, likely the smartest Agni player. But right now we're looking at the duo lane here. Both the Raven Shout or Raven Shield there is going to be used in junction with the lunge, but that was close. Almost getting the pull there, and that would have been a kill, but a little bit too slow as Trix Tank.
So, is Lobster the best looking Agni player?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, you like it? You like it? You're a fan?
It's Lobster.
All right. Well, I mean, okay, I take it. Best looking, best at it, most tenured, and you kind of can maybe get a feel for this Lobster character, as we mentioned in the last game. Probably the best Raw player and maybe the most well-known player for his Raw, with maybe the exception of Boosh and MLC Stealth in North America. Together, kind of are like a Lobster in terms of their prevalence with the god.
I really like Shadow Nightmare
but
too.
also Agni.
No,
right?
Shadow Nightmare is a player that also doesn't get talked about a lot in terms of Raw.
Sure.
You know, he was the guy that really brought the Raw to the table with Frostyak playing with the fist that we talked about with the double dash. I mean, that kind of stuff I absolutely adore. Shadow Nightmare had a really strong start to the season, whereas Trig probably didn't, and they've such then since switched seats, as it seems that Lobster's kind of starting to take over the European meta.
Yeah. It's well. And it's really, honestly, not that uncommon for this player and this squad, this core of the squad, to be a very dominant mid-season team. They've had problems sealing the deal, though.
You know, for me, I actually didn't expect Trig to come back as strongly as they have in Season 2.
After that first week loss?
You know, for me, they've been playing this game for so long that after that loss, I expected them to check out. I really did. And they have not only not checked out, but they've answered that back in spades. I mean, they have been almost unstoppable so far.
Well, to be fair, when this team included Badja and High Rock and Young Bay instead of the Cuba Fred and Trix Tank, there was a lot of quitting the game involved. So maybe they've got that out of their system.
That's fair. Cubo Fred trying to find it, and it looks like he will take the Sentry. Kanye taking a lot of damage.
Please.
Ooh, wow, look at that damage. Path of Flame's going to clean that one up. Combustion was ticking as well. Lobster just throwing down a lot of damage. Featherstep not only hitting super hard, but locking him in that place as well. Beautiful play coming out from the boys in Trig for their second kill of the game, both of which have gone to Lob.
Yeah, Awilix definitely feels like a little bit of a sleeper here. This character does very poorly in the average player's hands.
Yeah.
Overall, does not do very well in just Conquest Hughes in general. However, just the nature of what the ultimate does, and that it is a leap counter, of which there are no others really.
Yeah.
Just kind of always means that she's going to be at the top of potential picks, especially counter pick base in a Pro League setting.
And don't forget, the Bird Bomb gets completely shut down.
Yeah.
That shield will hit the ground, but it will not go off, and then you can just burst it down, making sure he does no damage whatsoever. His two main damaging abilities are Lunge and the Raven Shield.
That's a really good point. It's Nasty versus Odin, who relies 95% of his damage needs to come out of the 1-2 combo.
It's pretty close to that. It actually might be pretty accurate.
And she sees that one coming from a mile away. And
by the way, did you get to play the match of the day with all Odins with like 80% CDR and no mana costs?
No.
That was.
Did it have a good name?
I don't know, man. I just locked it in.
See, now I need a good pun bird name there to really play it well, I think. I need at least a Michael Keaton reference.
Avian flu? I don't know.
Hey.
Hey.
Vian.
Bird flu.
Yeah, I got you.
All right.
I'm there with you.
Thanks, Bart.
I know Latin roots.
Still 0-2 here, 7:30. No real attempts at the Gulf Fury, but we're going to get an attempt at a lock-in here.
Here we go.
Here comes
Thor's
Reppy
up.
as well.
I can hear it. Bouncing around. There's a bit of the dump,
wow,
if you
look
will,
at this.
coming out for Pretty Prime, but TRIG is having a giggle. He's going to go down to Comfrey's ultimate here. And honestly, oh, there's the knockup. There's the pullback that you see out of the Awilix. Comfrey now has to go through the fire and the flames, but he will survive. No.
Really, Bart?
What? You don't like Dragon Force?
Oh, wow. Beautiful wall from Repicos right there. Keeps Comfrey alive, but Cubo Fred still answers by picking up Kanye. Support for support, slightly in favor there of the guys on Titan, given the fact that a level 6 for a level 8. The only difference here is that the level 8 will wind up actually respawning faster, given how long ago he had died. So hard to really pick a winner there. Overall, it seems like it might have been a pretty even trade. It depends on what TRIG does with their extra time.
Am I crazy, or did Odin just go in to die in that fight? Like, I felt like they were disengaged, the Vamana had been cut off, and then he kind of came around the backside to try to re-engage, and the communication was off. What I'm getting at here is it's a 2-level disadvantage for Odin.
I'll be honest, Bart, I was done casting that fight, and then he died, and I don't really know how.
Yeah, I mean, it was like we were watching Vamana got blocked off, and then in comes Odin.
Yeah,
down he goes. Kanye life, maybe a little bit of a misplay there.
It seems to me that this is going to be the one mistake that we talk about for Titan that might put them off the rails. They're usually so clean and so organized, and right there, that was just a mistake.
Odin doesn't look that comfortable to me for them, honestly.
I don't think we've seen this god win yet in the SPL.
I want to say we have seen it win out of the jungle. Ooh, is that in qualifiers, though?
Ooh, that's true. That was weekend in the qualifiers. I'm not sure. We have Shadow Q won with it. I've seen him play it once, but I don't think Shadow Q won that game. Not 100% sure.
It's one. I think yeah, it's one. It's one.
Okay, but still not a great win ratio from the support role. Realistically, does have some great potential, but Hercules seems to have better as he throws a boulder to crush the God of Thunder.
Yeah, it's Agni with the credit for that one, but the lion's share of the damage coming out of TRIG there is, well, the boulder. It's one of the really. It's scary that this thing used to CC people as well, considering Hercules, especially in the hands of TRIG and maybe exclusively in the hands of TRIG.
For support.
That's what I mean. It's really shown that this god is a really excellent support.
Well, we saw Badger play him at the launch tournament in scrims. Yeah. And to this day, it was the best thing I've ever seen done with Hercules, and I've never seen it again. You walk out of the base at level 1 with a creeping curse. And then you hit someone with the pole, right? You Earthbreaker them back, and then you creeping curse them. You don't driving strike. And then just repeatedly reposition yourself behind them, body blocking, because they're not fast enough to run past it, and then driving strike back. After I saw that, I expected that Badger was just going to run a train on people with this character, and I have yet he has not since played him, and it's been very infuriating.
He's a Buckets player. At the end of the day, old Badger, a.k.a.
Poang. He's the biggest troll in Smite's history.
Yeah,
I love it.
For those of you who don't know, Badger, now on Fnatic.
Now, he was originally on the bipolar method with Young Bay and Lobster.
Yeah, High Rock, Spoo, that squad. He basically quit the game as Badger, then started playing as Poang, got recruited to the same team, and then told them that it was actually the original player. Pretty amazing stuff. They were like, you sound a lot like Badger, and he was like, that's because I am.
Well, then, yeah, he went to Worlds on a different team, and he's like, I guess I better tell everybody who I am now. And has since changed his name back to Badger since the jig was up, right? And has done incredibly. I mean, he's been a part of one of the best rosters in Smite's history, formerly SK Gaming, now Fnatic, taking 4th place at Worlds, multiple LAN wins. I mean, these guys are incredibly strong.
Kanye. This could be his opportunity. They're going to turn the corner. He has a shot here. Vulcan and Thor both in the area. There's the ring. Where is the rest of the dunks?
Here
We're
comes
going to fire the rockets. We're going to fire the Thor ultimate. It's going to do quite a bit of damage to Agni. But Lobster, cool under pressure. It's going to avoid that one. And it's TRIG who secures a kill for Repicos, who bit off more than he can chew there. Bombs over the wall from Lobster. Might as well as going back to the base. He's going to have time to recoup it. And here comes the cleanup squad. It's Fred. Already on the front line is TRIG. He's going to get that bonus out of being the first to deal damage in this fight. but Confrey a little too tanky, rotating out of the solo lane. Gonna take him up right there.
Right there, that'll be the last time that we're going to see Cubo prioritize or try to kill Confrey, because that was just tickle attacks over and over. Just gave him the giggles. That's all he really got out of that. But the team still has a lot of damage, and with that, a pretty free, uncontested Gold Fury. 3,000 gold separates the teams now with a 4,500 experience kicker and a 5-to-1 ratio at 12 minutes. I mean, right now, there's very little that they can do aside from we better hope that Confrey is alive and CCing people long enough to really make things work whilst Odin helps us kill Vamana. And even in that scenario, I just don't see it.
The big issue, right? You're relying on Chaac to CC people. And Chaac is a lot of things. Good at CC is not one of them.
He has a silence, he has a slow, and then he is tapped for at least 20 seconds.
He's really, really great at isolating a target, silencing the team, isolating a target, chain slowing it, running it down. What he's not great at is peeling. And there's a Vamana. So what is he going to do against it? Like, what can he do? When Vamana is in large baby form and has his Sprint 3 running, or has a Vitalis or whatever Xbalanque elects to go for, most likely will be the Sprint 3 or Sprint 1 already active. There's nothing they can do to stop it outside of the Thor wall.
Now, with the Sprint on 9, we do have another active slot. Now, there are a few choices. Again, I'm going to highlight Shield of the Underworld. Makes it very, very difficult for Hunters to be able to box him. Not to mention, if you are going to use Weakening Curse and try to burst him down, all the damage is being dealt back with bonus protections on him as well. We've seen it happen a few times in the SPL to amazing success, though I don't know if that was Xalia.
It was Divios.
It was probably Divios.
It was Divios. Divios running on Hades. And also there was, the item was bugged, I want to say. Maybe oversight, but basically it was reflecting damage to towers and phoenixes as well when Divios
still
ran
does that?
No, it does not. Not in the last patch.
Are you sure?
I'm sure it was fixed.
Huh. Once again, Trixtank finding a kill. How does he keep getting this? Repicot's going to be picked off again. Oh my god, I just don't understand how they're able to continuously find this. And like I said, they're not going to prioritize Confrey here. You basically see them letting him walk away for how tanky he is. With that, Ataraxia finally rotates over, albeit a bit late. And with that, 2 kills go the way to Trig. Once again, one of them back on the support, who has found themselves with a lot of gold.
Well, Odin, one of the squishier gods in his class.
Was that Blink?
From
on Freya? Yes, that is a improved blink on the bottom.
Right. Fun ball, turn up.
Yeah, really, not something you see very often. Could be a combat blink, could be a regular blink. Either way, I hope it's a combat blink. One of my favorite items in the game right now.
How could it not be?
Super strong.
How could it not be? So combat blink, for those of you who don't know, blink in this game, if you deal damage or take damage, you get locked out of using blink until you're out of combat, plus a little bit bonus time. The combat blink allows you to use it at any time for any reason, but does go on a 4-minute cooldown. So. Very powerful, but also a big risk-reward element there.
Is it 4 minutes? I thought it was 3 minutes.
Is it 270? I thought it was...
Hard to say. We don't see it a lot.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's 270. I think it's 3... Now, is it 180?
We'll find out soon. I can't imagine he's going to build regular blink on Freya.
I'm crazy. My math is failing me there. 270 is not even a multiplier of anything. Was that 90 times 3? It's 3
minutes are long in Bart's life.
They are.
I've hung out with
It's dragging on. But yeah, no. Getting back to why these fights maybe are so much in favor of Trig. It's Odin, probably the squishiest god in his warrior class without the shield up.
Yeah.
And Thor, also not known for his resiliency as an assassin. So it's basically they tried to initiate and they died a lobster continually. That's been the name of this one.
I mean, you look at the warrior class, right? Aside from Osiris, pretty much everyone can heal themselves pretty well. Chaac, Rain Dance, Hercules mitigate wounds. Both Vulcan and Vamana have their ultimates to rely on.
All right. Come on, boys.
Not much.
They need this one here. Repicos, there's the burst chain coming through. Beautiful execution.
Yeah, they needed that.
They need that one. Open up a little bit of room to potentially get Ataraxia up to a level where he's going to be able to carry this team in the later stages of the game. He needs items.
Well, he just got one. Hasten Vitalis has been finished, meaning he will move at a faster pace than his opponent if his opponent didn't build boots and Hasten Vitalis as well, meaning he's actually going to be moving 10% faster, albeit Mage versus Hunter.
Net worth chart up here, and it's Vamana and Chaac, no surprise there. The solo laners generally are your top farmers, but it's Awilix here. It's Awilix, Agni, and Vamana rounding out 3 of the top 4 farm positions. Next highest being Xbalanque, 400 gold behind. And Young Pretty Prime, we mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast here, statistically, one of the weaker mid laners in all of Europe. And, well, having a tough game here as well, maybe belying a little bit of why those stats are the way they are. 6,800 gold farmed in comparison to the 8,200 on the side of Agni.
Wow, I mean, that at this stage is unreasonable. I mean, there's really no reason for him to be that far behind. The only saving grace is that, yes, he has gone into a Doom Orb, which means he will have a power spike, but Doom Orb into Shoes of Focus is not going to give him the burst necessary to compete with Bancroft's Talon and 2 levels.
Oh, man. it's that significant. I mean, I guess I kind of said the gold, and I didn't really think about what items he would build with that extra gold that he has and the Bancroft's Talon.
Like, yeah,
it's a lot of damage.
Get Lobster low. Speaking of, though, we're going to see
here we go.
Jumping up into the
okay,
air.
They're going to give it another go.
Why not? For it. They need the Gold Fury this time.
Titan got it. Titan got the Gold Fury there. I guess the Vulcan Bomb sealing the deal. Maybe the Odin hand. It was a little bit tumultuous during that fight, but only Replicas to go down in exchange for Trix Tank so far. Confree, he's in a bit of trouble, though. Xalia, he doesn't want to be denied just yet. Awilix, the Feather Step is there. Funbow picks up Confree. It was... No.
Okay, so he hits him with the Moonlit Charge, right? Knocks him up, brings him down. As soon as he hits the ground, the stun activates, and then Xalia's right there to send him back up into the air. There wasn't even time to beads that.
That was just gross.
He could have beads himself out of the pull. It seems like he wasn't ready to get hit at all. But wow, the teamwork and CC chain property coming out from TRIG, enough to pick up a total of, I think, 4 kills in that exchange,
disgusting.
although losing the Gold Fury. They're going to get a tower and a pretty big experience boost.
I was in love with they basically had everyone clustered up, and Freya rotates through chain slowing while Vamana river dances.
Oh, yeah.
It was nice.
Well, and then right afterwards, you know, she's activating the Pulse Irradiate combo, and Vamana in the small baby form is just running around applying heavy hammer to people to keep them locked down. Like, that's the teamwork that TRIG needed, you know, during the LAN, where I kind of think they fell through, but this, it seems like they're really on the same page here.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of insight into kind of what their offseason has been like, the new sponsor, TRIG and all of their kind of conversations about their philosophy around esports. This is the sponsor, not the actual players, you know. Very much approach it more like a sport, you know. Yeah. Practice only 6 hours a day, exercise, eat right. You know,
something a lot of players don't consider. I mean,
mental
train the body to train the mind.
That's right. Yeah. And Zimstar, really dedicated manager and coach for this team. So seems to be paying out at least against
I love
ostensibly
Zim
the strongest team in
as
Europe.
A player. I think he is one of the most talented Smite, League of Legends, whatever game you want to put him on. The guy plays at a top level. It's incredible. But as a coach, he has a brilliant mind. And best of all, he sees players' mistakes and knows how to inherently fix them, which is something that not a lot of coaches do. They say, you're doing this wrong, we have to fix it. Zim's like, we can do this, and we can do this, and make our lineup stronger. And with that, you know, I think we're going to see a lot more from TRIG this season.
Look at this. This Awilix build. What are you doing, Fred?
Yeah, whoa. So Runeforge Hammer going to be locked in here.
Yeah.
Jotun's Wrath going to be very late. Seeing the rest of this build might not even be it. It could be a Titan's Bane.
So
right?
Transcendence, sure. Makes sense.
I'm down with the Transcendence.
Big bonus burst damage.
It's like 70+ damage for where it's built. It's real big.
Jeez, Reppy. Yikes. That hurt. But then the Runeforge. Like, it's just out of nowhere.
You know what? Thinking
bonus
about
XP,
it,
bonus armor.
What's the biggest weakness of Awilix is that she
burst.
goes in and dies, right? I mean, she just gets killed way too easily. This might be able to remedy that, and building it where she has, I mean, this is actually really, really smart.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's one thing we didn't mention at all about this draft, and now as we're talking through this, it's 4 physicals on the side of Titan. So she's mitigating basically everybody except for what Pretty Prime's able to put out. We've already talked about how far behind Pretty Prime is.
With that, I definitely want to see Soul Eater as the 4th item coming out from Odin, increasing the power and lifesteal coming out from the entire team, basically. That's something that really you can't put a price on. Not to mention health, going to give him a little bit of attack speed. I mean, that's like 2,000 gold.
Oh, they forced... Oh no, Chaac teleports to the left side tier 2 to try to save it. Did they not see Xalia knocking at the tier 2 on the right side?
They were fighting.
He's going to force his team back across the map. The teleport already used. Likely a tier 2 getting about 50%. Xalia may not even peel back as the Vulcan comes in. No, he's going to respect it. But that leaves the rest of the team to swarm the jungle, clean it up, and basically pin Titan behind their tier 2s now.
The rest of Titan counts their lucky stars as the situational awareness and quickness coming out from Pretty Prime saves a 1,500 gold swing. But look at this guy, Xalia. He's like, hey, I'm still here. Come fight me, or you're going to lose your tower.
Yeah, and, well, they elect to lose the tower here, it looks like. I mean, I guess Vulcan can throw an ultimate out here at this point to stop him, but no, he's going to turn back and try to defend the tier 2 left. Yeah. Well, what excuse do they have, or rather what choice do they have? They're getting pressured at all 3 lanes, and Well, now they're going to be forced to bail out Confreys. He gets the chain slow put onto him. The driving strike. Funballer can't even find his damn target and all the mess. Feather step. Confrey trying to stay in and fight as Repicos is looking to follow up with the ultimate combination. He's off the mark. He misses everybody. He's going to get abused for this one. Trying to spin on top of Lobster. Is it enough? No, the pullback, the peel is just so good out of Trix. Really one of the things that he's most known for. Here comes the damage combo. Trix going to aegis that one away. It's Kanye and Pretty Prime on the front line still. A 1-for-1 trade to date. Pretty Prime starting to get bursted around by Cubo Fred, but fighting well.
Did he get the Phoenix?
Funballer. Yeah, he got the Phoenix too.
Wow, that's a huge win right there.
Oh, Pretty Prime. He got done.
Repicos trying to find a return kill there with Milner as a 2-man, but he's too far behind. Level 15 swinging into the 19. Awilix shows a very little spike in damage on top of the fact that, of course, Cubo did have that Runeforge hammer as well. That could have just saved his life.
Yeah, could very well have there. Yeah, that Mueller's ultimate backside hit could have done it. Also in that fray, Funballer finds a kill as well, and a Kanye life chases him down.
Oh,
so.
We have seen the Shield of the Underworld come out to Vamana. Now, this is something that's going to create a rather insane dynamic because the only way to kill Vamana is to apply 100% healing reduction and burst him down in his ultimate. If he's ahead, that's your only bet. They don't need the Weakening Curse given the fact that they have the Odin Chain, but now, or the Odin Cage rather, but if the Odin Cage is going to be active, that means they have to burst him down while he's in there. So if they're all going to send that damage, it's just all going to get reflected back.
Yeah.
And look at that build. I am such a huge fan of Executioner on Vamana, by the way.
Well, what do you do as Vamana? You hit people a bunch of times.
You hit a bunch of people a bunch of times.
And what Executioner is very good at, well, dealing damage on targets you're hitting consecutively.
Right. I mean, not to mention, considering the fact that Freya's not going to have the Executioner since she's not a hunter, she's technically a mage, this is going to outright increase Awilix and Hercules' damage as well without overstacking, which is something that you run the risk of with multiple Executioners.
Yeah, shout out to the DPH on Freya. Dynasty Plate Helm, baby.
Are you serious?
All day.
Wow, okay.
We bridge item, boys.
I think this is a good idea. Before Demonic Grip, a little bit strange.
It's 4 physicals.
Right.
Again, back to that.
Yeah, all right.
They're picking up their hybridized physical protection items because it's just so cost efficient in this game.
That's fair. Now, remember, Freya doesn't actually heal, so Lotus Crown doesn't actually help her. Freya's is lifesteal. These abilities aren't healing her directly. It's indirect.
Right. Which is why you see the Dynasty.
Right, which is why you'll see Dynasty instead of the Lotus Crown. Really, no one on this team can build Lotus Crown.
Yeah, no one is. Whoa, here comes the fight. It's over the top of the boulder from Trix Tank to start things off. The Xbalanque ultimate uses well, but it's Xaylia who's the problem. Trix Tank getting low, mitigate wounds, doing a lot, and they split the fight trying to secure the kill into him. Ataraxia will get credit for that one, and it's Trig maybe who have gone a bit too far here. Kanye already down, they'll find Pretty Prime as well. A lot of the AoE capability is going to be gone on the side of Titan, but Trig no longer has a real frontliner here. It's going to be Cubo Fred with that Smithy Hammer trying to kind of play that role. Reppy forced to beats the pull. Funballer takes to the sky. That's enough to secure the kill into Ataraxia. And Cubo Fred with the bonus movement speed. Can he get to Suku in time to chase this one down? Confrey has bit off more than he can chew as well. And the extended fight once again goes to TRIG Esports. Titan, they drop 4.
With that was exactly what we talked about with the Shield of the Underworld. They try to burn down the baby. He pops the shield, sits in it, and just starts laying waste. Pretty Prime took 400-something damage. 500 damage just from throwing his ultimate out, and Xaylia took less than that because of the protections and the way that he was doing it. Not to mention, once that cage fell and he was healing himself, it was laughable what they were attempting to do. Now remember, we talked about the fact that they have extreme affinity with these characters. The acclamation between Vamana and Xaylia and Agni and Lobster has been incredible throughout the years, but I mean, something we didn't talk about is how good Cubo Fred might have been on Awilix. He's 508.
Yeah, he's crushing people. So Xaylia just kind of goes for the Bakasura build here, regardless of what he's playing. It's a hide enemy lion.
I love it.
Oh,
I hate this item. I think it is horrible unless you have Shield of the Underworld. Because
look how awful this is.
Because now, if that hunter decides to try to burst down Vamana, he's dealing back 40% unmitigated, right? And then he's dealing back another 20%. How does Xbalanque, a super hyper carry, deal with someone who's dealing that much damage back to them?
Yeah, that's maybe the crux of it here is that with a low penetration build like the Devs Loves Heartseeker Fatalis, you just don't do anything.
Yeah.
You just don't do anything to a Vamana that's this stacked up.
This has always been the Vamana play, right? If you get big, the game would just end. It's what we saw from Xalia, what we saw from Game Hunter, what we saw from Omega, what I'm sure we're going to continue seeing from these players in Season 2, as Xalia has been extremely, extremely hard to fight. Looking at player damage, he's 4th overall, which might not spell how well he's been doing. In fact, only 3 more damage than Chaac overall, but the level of control that he's had versus Chaac has just been insane.
Yeah, I mean, even though the slash line maybe looks similar, it's the impact that Xalia's had on the game is significantly more than what Confid's been able to do. But a lot of that comes out of his team's inability to really capitalize on even the best initiations out of that Chaac. Whereas Xalia has the luxury of rotating late into the fights and really being able to impact them heavily. Ataraxia erased as Hugo Fred finds that CC into pull chain. And, well, that's a big chunk of the damage out of TRIG, out of Titan gone. And they will not be able to contest this tier 2 as you see Trix Tank perfectly happy to tank this one up on the Hercules, mitigating those wounds. And Funballer, he just wants to pick someone off. Wow,
Titan in a lot of trouble here. Dropping an 0-2 could mean disastrous things for them in Week 5. With that, we're going to see them dive in here. Really, no one on TRIG is going to have much trouble getting to the back line.
Well, it's the ring, and he's done the thing where he's kind of tried to shut off the team or at least isolate Vamana, but it's too little too late. Vamana, as you mentioned, that build, they can't fight him.
He hasn't even popped shield to the underworld yet.
They just can't fight him. I mean, there's, it's not very often you really say that, like, maybe they can't kill him, sure, but they literally can't fight him.
They can't. They can't box him. They can't kill him. They can't stand around him because he will kill them. Vamana is one of the most dynamic characters in the game because if he's ahead, he can single-handedly carry the game.
Yeah, Reppy, he's going to go down, tries to make the play there. There's a Shield of the Underworld. He just walks right into that turret and lets the Shield of the Underworld do the rest of the work, and that big baby form regenning up his HP. It's 2 Phoenixes down. It's all 3 Phoenixes down, I'm sorry. And, well, it's honestly...
And there goes Ataraxia.
Ataraxia, he goes down to the chain CC as well. It's the second time we see someone fall right in between that mid and left side Phoenix. And now it's Titan's Titan that is under attack. And that's going to be it.
That was very fast.
TRIG Esports takes Titan in 2 straight games there.
That was much more than just a win. They were like, you're top seed in Europe. This is a statement. We are not only going to make it to LAN, but we want to win that LAN cleanly. And after a performance like that, I think everyone on both sides of the pond is kind of like, wow.
Yeah, now the pressure's on Titan, actually. They got to win out.
Can they still make it?
I think they can, yeah.
You still think they can?
Yeah.
I don't know math off the top of my head.
This is their first loss, right? No, this is their second loss.
Yeah, they lost to Fnatic.
Yeah, because because Fnatic plays the bottom 2 place teams out of Europe, so they don't have another game. They win the head-to-head, I think, if they both went out. So,
well, let's see how TRIG
Fnatic
just
boys
managed to shape up that huge second win as we go back into the replay for First Blood.
And well, this is a face we've seen before. It's Lobster. This time on Agni here that we're riding along with for the First Blood, and it's that first Awilix ultimate that sets it up. Cubo Fred plays out of his mind this game here, but Lobster getting credit for that First Blood and really very dominant performance out of every position that game from TRIG.
But Cubo, I mean, player of the game, cleanly.
Yeah.
We don't have a highlight reel for you this time, but we can still tell you zero deaths as Awilix that's not even English.
Yeah, the Rune 4 Chamber versus the 4 Physical is just a brilliant pickup by Cubo Fred, and he avoids taking a spill at all. Set up a lot of kills for his team, as we mentioned. Maybe most impressive of all was the Moonlight Charge setup. It's not an easy spell to land, and he seemed to have a pretty high percentage out of that bad boy.
Not to mention, he was getting the pulls every time, but he wasn't wasting them. There were knockups in which he was like, I can wait on this. My team can follow this up. It's, again, the trust. He trusts his team so that he doesn't have to use his ultimate. And he was using his ultimate not just for the pull, but for the actual damage that it's going to be giving. It's a lot of attack speed.
Well, we do have Xalia on the line, is what I'm told. Xalia, are you there, bud?
Hello.
Hey, listen to him. What a sweetheart. How are you, buddy? How was that Vamana game? Tell me a little bit about Shield of the Underworld and Hide of the Nemean Line.
Well, the game itself was just farming and getting Phoenix.
That's what.
And the Shield of the Underworld is just farming because they can't fight me, so I can farm.
He likes to farm.
He likes to farming.
I like farming.
You like farming, yeah?
That's why I love Xalia not being on a team with Youngbei, right? Because now there's not 2 people trying to farm, right? It's just one person will try to farm.
Yeah.
So the roster changes overall to make sure they didn't wind up on the same team was a good idea.
Can you take us a little bit through the communications on your side, Xalia, when you were pressuring that left side tier 2 and your team was on the far side, on the right side, with 4 members pressuring the tier 2 on the left, and then Lobster split off for the mid. How did you guys kind of coordinate that, and what was the call there?
Well, at first I thought the Vulcan was coming to stop me, but then he rotated away, so I just kept pushing while my team was just fighting. And then the entire Titan team went on them while I was pressuring the Phoenix, so I just sat there silently pressing left click while they were talking.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. Is there really a communication period where they're like, no, you stay and farm, or you're just kind of like, I'm just not going to say anything and hope they don't call me to the fight?
I decide I farm. I mean, it's not a hard decision to make when I cannot rotate in time anyway.
Fair enough. So, Nemesis, again, you explained to us a little bit on my stream in the chat. Run us through it again.
Nemesis solo, how does it work?
Okay, so basically in the picking phase, people are like, wow, we really like Nemesis ult. So we pick Nemesis. And then later on, Kiwi is like, I wanna play the monkey character. And
okay,
then,
now if you're doing the high-pitched voice for someone, they must seriously have a high-pitched voice, dude.
So then I'm like stuck with Nemesis, and it's like, oh well. But basically, Nemesis is, in my opinion, the strongest late game assassin. Like, I would have her in my team over a Kali late game.
Wow.
And yeah, I just get through the lane by farming and don't give a crap.
I think the quote from Xalia was, Kali does things for herself, Nemesis does things for the team.
Yeah,
sure.
That's what I said.
Yeah, the protection burn seems really good, but yeah, I mean, can you give the viewers at home an idea of how the hell you get through the first 3 minutes of the laning phase as Nemesis? Like, what is your strategy there? Is it Hog 2 required? Like, what's the...
Hog 2 is definitely required. Yeah, you need a Hog to keep the push going, especially against certain characters. So you do need a Hog, and you just... It's not too difficult. You just 2 the wave, Hog it. If they try to harass you, you use your 3. Otherwise, you just farm.
It sounds really easy.
That sounds really easy.
It's not, and please don't do it in my rank games.
Okay.
Not you. You can do it.
No, you can do it in the rank games.
Please
you play a lot of ranks.
do it in my rank games.
Do you have any shout-outs or call-outs before you go, Xalia?
Shout out to my team, shout out to defense supporting, shout out to TRIG Esports because he really wanted a shout out, and yeah, that's it.
Alright, thanks a lot, man, and congratulations on your victory, and best of luck to you guys as you continue in the European Pro League. That does do it for game number 2 out of set number 1 here, guys. But before we do go, check this out. There's Cognitive Scylla available in the marketplace currently. Each one of these purchases, $1 of those proceeds go to the Cognitive Gaming Invitation.
That's right, which is shaping up to be a pretty good event. We ran the TSM Invitational last year. In Europe, this time, a North American team won, so we're going to be running it, I'm pretty sure, at the AFK Lounge.
TBD based on what Cognitive wants to do, but I would be very surprised if it wasn't that.
That'd be pretty cool. I would love to go to California,
San Jose,
where it's warm and not really that hot.
St. Joe's.
Oh, is that where it is?
That is what it is. San Jose.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. Well, that does do it for set number 1, guys. Out of Europe, coming up next, it's North America. Brandon, got any words on this one?
Again, we're put into a position where teams must win, but we'll find out.
Yeah, can they want it or not? Find out, guys, as we come back for set number 2 out of North America. We'll be back in 5 minutes.